Welcome, everyone. Today, I want you to stop whatever it is you are doing. Pull your hands away from the keyboard. Put your phone down on the table, face down. Sit back in your chair, or if you are standing, find a place to rest. Close your eyes for just one moment. Take a deep, slow breath in through your nose, hold it, and let it out. Now, ask yourself this simple, piercing question. Am I really living, or am I just existing? Think about it, honestly. Look at the modern world around you. Everyone wants to travel the globe. Everyone wants their dream car parked in the driveway. People crave freedom, financial abundance, a peaceful mind, genuine love, respect, and deep happiness. They want a business they can call their own, a romantic relationship that makes them feel electrifyingly alive, and a legacy that makes their family proud. They want a life that feels genuinely worth living. But here is my question to you. What are you doing today to get all that? What are you doing right now in this exact hour to create the life you endlessly dream about? Are you still scrolling mindlessly through social media feeds, watching the achievements of others while yours rot? Are you still consuming random videos just to kill time because you're bored? Are you still manufacturing brilliant, elaborate excuses for why you can't start today? Still sleeping late? Still paralyzed by the fear of failure? Still sitting in the corner, hoping that things will magically change? Listen to me very carefully. This life is real. This world is cold, hard, and unforgivingly real. But your time on this planet is strictly limited. You do not get a second life. You do not get a reset button. You don't get a dress rehearsal, and you are not born again tomorrow to try your hand at this a second time. This is it. This is your only shot. Your life is happening right now, today, in this very moment. In this guide, I am going to tell you the brutal truths that no one else has the guts to say to your face. I am not here to motivate you with cheap, sugar-coated lies or fake feel-good phrases that wear off in 5 minutes. I am here to hold up a mirror directly in front of your soul so you can finally see the raw truth. I am here to wake you up from a deep subconscious sleep you didn't even know you were trapped in. You say you want to change your life. You say you want to master a new language, speak better English, earn triple the money, and become confident, powerful, successful, and completely unstoppable. If that is true, then don't just read these words, feel them. Let them sting. Listen with your soul. Listen with the memory of your past pain. Listen like your entire life depends on it, because it absolutely does. Let us begin this journey. Let us learn exactly how to stop wasting this one precious, irreplaceable life you have been given. Let me break down the most toxic illusion of the modern age. You often hear people say, "I'm just killing some time." Let me tell you the absolute truth. You are not killing time. Time is killing you. Every single time you utter the words, "I'll just do it tomorrow," you are signing a contract with mediocrity. Every time you spend an extra hour drowning in the algorithmic abyss of Instagram or TikTok, every time you slam your hand down on the snooze button of your alarm to creep back into a comfortable dream, you aren't just passing time, you are systematically destroying living pieces of your future. Why? Because your time is your life. It is the literal currency of your existence. You might not feel the weight of it today because you are young or because tomorrow still feels like an infinite promise, but slowly, silently, the clock is ticking away. Every single second that ticks by is a second wrenched away from your total balance. You are getting older right now. Your biological energy peak is finite. Your parents are getting older every single day, moving closer to the edge. Your dreams are waiting patiently in the dark corner of your mind, but ask yourself, for how much longer can they afford to wait? Look back at your immediate past. What did you accomplish yesterday? What did you build the day before that? What are you realistically planning to execute tomorrow? If your honest answer is nothing, the usual, or I'm waiting for someday,
then you are living a lie. That magical someday you keep aiming for does not exist on any calendar. It is a psychological mirage invented by cowards to make themselves feel better about doing nothing today. Your dreams do not care about your emotional excuses. The marketplace does not care about your valid personal reasons. The world only bows to one thing: results. The value shift. Stop treating your hours like garbage and start valuing them like pure gold. The strategy? Every single night before you sleep, write down a concrete, non-negotiable plan for the next day. The focus: identify the one single task that will aggressively push your life, your career, or your skills forward. The sacrifice: cut out just 1 hour of useless screen time today and aggressively reallocate it to reading, high-level skill acquisition, or physical training. Time is a fiercely loyal friend if you respect it, but if you treat it with disrespect, it will swiftly become your greatest, most terrifying enemy. Your life is entirely, undeniably, 100% your own responsibility. It is not the fault of your parents. It is not the responsibility of your friends, your corporate boss, your ex-partner, or the current government. It is on you. Only you. It is deeply tragic to watch people waste 5, 10, 20 years of their prime adult lives weeping over what they were not handed at birth. They cry, "I didn't get to attend an elite Ivy League school. My family doesn't emotionally support my vision. I don't have the venture capital or the seed money. I simply don't have enough hours in the day. I wasn't born with natural, innate talent." Those are nothing but beautifully packaged excuses designed to protect your ego from the pain of your own inaction. Do you want to know who actually wins in the brutal arena of the real world? It is the individual who looks at their horrific circumstances, shrugs their shoulders, and says, "I don't care what I was denied. Watch me create an empire out of absolutely nothing." Look at history. The most influential, powerful, world-altering people to ever walk this earth frequently started with less than zero. They had no family money, no elite networks, no systemic support, and no roadmap. But they possessed an unquenchable internal hunger. They had a roaring fire in their gut and a definitive cast-iron decision that they would change their lineage forever. Think of Oprah Winfrey. She was born into extreme, suffocating poverty in rural Mississippi to a single teenage mother. She faced horrific physical and sexual abuse throughout her childhood. By all societal metrics, she was coded to fail. But she refused to sit down and cry. She refused to weaponize her trauma as an excuse to remain stagnant. She didn't spend her 20s blaming her environment or her abusers. She built, she worked, she spoke, she conquered, and she became a global media billionaire and one of the most respected human beings on Earth. Victim mindset: blames environment. Builder mindset: owns the outcome. Waits for permission. Takes immediate action. Trapped by past trauma. Uses pain as fuel. Stop playing the victim in a movie that you are directing. Accept your messy, complicated, unfair backstory, but absolute refuse to let it dictate your final chapter. Say this phrase out loud every morning until it is branded into your subconscious mind. I am entirely responsible for my own life. Write your absolute worst problems down on a blank sheet of paper. Next to every single problem, write down one immediate, actionable solution and execute it before the sun goes down. It doesn't matter how microscopic that first step is. You are not inherently weak. You are not uniquely unlucky. You are simply refusing to step into your true power. Let's map out your current daily routine. You wake up later than you should, you immediately reach for your smartphone to check notifications, you drag yourself out of bed to eat something low effort, you watch a few videos, you scroll through social media platforms, you perform a tiny half-hearted amount of work or study, you go back to sleep, and then you repeat the cycle the next day. On the surface, it feels incredibly easy. It feels profoundly relaxing, safe, and secure. But do you want to know what is actually happening underneath that comfortable surface? You are slowly dying from the inside out. Your comfort zone is silently, systematically assassinating your grandest dreams because absolutely nothing of value ever grows in a state of perpetual comfort. All high-level success, wealth, mastery, and fulfillment live explicitly outside of that safe perimeter. You say you want to speak fluent, commanding English. Then you need to open your mouth and start speaking it in public right now, even if your hands are shaking and you make 100 embarrassing grammatical mistakes. You say you want to launch a highly profitable business. Then build the minimum viable product and pitch it to real clients today, even if you get rejected and fail the first 10 times. The vast majority of the human population will never even attempt to start. Why? Because they are utterly terrified to feel temporarily uncomfortable. They are mortified by the prospect of failure. They are deeply afraid of public embarrassment or the thought of random people laughing at them. Let them laugh. Let them doubt you from their cheap seats. Let them whisper behind your back while they remain frozen in their own mediocrity. You must keep moving forward regardless. Consider the biological reality of a seed. If that seed chooses to stay safely tucked under the dark, warm soil, it avoids the harsh elements, but it never fulfills its destiny. To become a massive, powerful tree, it must violently break through its own protective shell, push through the heavy, crushing dirt, and face the scorching sun and the violent winds. Only through that brutal process of exposure does it become majestic. You are no different. Do something intentionally uncomfortable every single day. Speak up in that meeting, join that advanced class, apply for that job you feel underqualified for, post that vulnerable, authentic video. Learn to fail proudly, fail loudly, but most importantly, fail forward. Nothing legendary ever came from playing it safe.
Let us be completely, brutally honest with each other. If you are an individual whose default response to any difficult, necessary task is, "I'll just do it later," you need to realize that you are actively lying to your own face. And the more frequently you tell this specific lie, the more you quietly, permanently erode your self-respect and self-trust. "I'll do it later" is not an innocent statement of scheduling. It is the insidious voice of your inner laziness. It is the defensive mechanism of your fear. It is the voice of your weakest, most mediocre self trying to keep you trapped in chains. When you say later, your brain doesn't actually mean it will execute the task at a future date. What your subconscious is actually saying is, "I lack the courage to do this right now, and I hope if I push it down the road, the desire will disappear entirely." Trigger task: "I'll do it later." Procrastination loop: accumulates regret. Look at the elite winners in life. They are never the people who say later. They are the individuals who live by the doctrine of now, this exact second. They take massive action even when they feel completely unready. They move even when they are terrified because they understand a fundamental cosmic law. Later almost always becomes never. You keep telling yourself that you want to master a new language or skill, but when are you actually going to sit down and study? You keep claiming you will fix your broken sleep schedule, start that side hustle, read that stack of books, or begin a meditation practice. When exactly is that mythical future date? Next week? Next month? Next New Year's resolution? Time is not your personal slave. It does not care about your schedule, and it will not wait for you to feel emotionally ready. You will not receive a polite warning text message from the universe letting you know that your lifespan is about to expire. The clock just stops. And if you have spent your life saying later, you will be left holding nothing but a heavy, crushing mountain of regret, the absolute worst, most agonizing psychological pain in human existence. Think about a practical example. 2 years ago, you had a brilliant idea to start a specific online platform or YouTube channel. You didn't do it. Why? Because of fear, overthinking, and the whispered promise of later.
Today, you happen to stumble upon someone else who launched that exact same idea. They now have the audience, they have the income, they are living your dream, and you are left sitting on your couch watching their video, bitterly thinking, that could have been me. The 10-minute momentum rule. Whenever you find yourself sliding into the later mindset, instantly drop everything and set a physical countdown timer for exactly 10 minutes. Tell yourself that you only have to work on the task with absolute intensity until the ringer rings. Stop overthinking the grand scale of the project. Just begin. One deeply imperfect, messy action taken right now is infinitely superior to 100 flawless, beautiful plans drawn up for later.
Your human mind can be your absolute best friend, or it can become your most brutal, torturous prison warden. For the vast majority of people in the modern world, their minds have become an ideological cage. Why? Because they think entirely too much and do absolutely nothing. You say you want to start a business and you spend 6 months researching logos, reading textbooks, and overanalyzing market trends without ever making a single sales call. You want to learn how to speak confidently, so you watch 50 motivational videos and take pristine notes, but your lips remain sealed in public. You want to transform your physical body, so you design a flawless workout routine, purchase expensive gym clothes, and download 3 fitness apps, but your feet never actually step through the doors of the gym. The trap of overthinking. Imagine project, analyze risks, imagine failure, freeze, stagnation, and decay. Overthinking is a highly sophisticated form of cowardice. It allows you to feel like you are being productive while you are actually just hiding from the risk of failure. You analyze a situation so intensely that you mentally exhaust yourself before you even step onto the playing field. You write the entire tragic story of your defeat before you even lace up your shoes, and that is precisely why you remain completely stuck. Analysis has value, but only for a very short, hyper-focused window of time. The moment analysis extends past that window, it mutates into fear, and fear is a pathological liar. You do not need to possess 100% of the information to begin your journey. You just need to have the guts to take the first step. If you genuinely want to improve your life, stop consuming endless amounts of passive information. Start writing, start speaking, start creating. Make an abundance of messy, horrific mistakes. You do not need an official permit from society. You do not need a flawless environment. You just need to execute. Imagine a man who decides he wants to learn how to swim. He sits by the edge of the pool and reads 10 comprehensive textbooks on hydrodynamics. He watches 50 high-definition videos of Olympic swimmers. He purchases the most aerodynamic swimsuit on the market and talks to professional lifeguards daily, but he refuses to jump into the water. Will he ever learn how to swim? Never. Yet this is exactly what you are doing with your career, your finances, and your deepest personal goals. The action ratio. Adopt a strict operational ratio for your life. Think for 10 minutes, then execute relentlessly for the next 10 hours. Build raw, unstoppable operational momentum. Let aggressive action become your default subconscious habit. Shut down the analytical, fearful loops of your brain and let your hands move, let your feet move, let your life move. Success never bows to deep thinkers. It bows to relentless doers. In every society, in every town, in every group of friends, and in every family line, there is a default standard. Most people are lazy. Most people complain constantly about their circumstances. Most people throw their hands up and quit the absolute moment things get painful or inconvenient. My advice to you is simple. Be that guy who breaks the mold. Be the anomalous individual who consistently does exactly what others are too weak or too tired to do. Be the person who drags themselves out of bed early while the rest of the world is wrapped in blankets. Be the person who isolates themselves to study and build while their peers are out partying, drinking, and burning their youth.
Be the person who speaks up with absolute authority when everyone else in the room is paralyzed by social anxiety. Be the person who maintains an unshakable belief in their vision when the crowd is laughing and mocking your ambition. The masses? That guy. Complains about weather. Adapts to the storm. Seeks constant validation. Driven by internal mission. Quits when exhausted. Pushes through the wall. Understand this clearly right now. Not everyone is going to believe in you, and that is completely fine. Not everyone is going to support your wild ambitions. That is totally irrelevant. You must learn to support yourself. You must learn to believe in your own capabilities when you are standing completely alone in a room full of doubters. As you elevate your standards, people will start to project their own insecurities onto you. They will say you've changed. They will claim you are being cold, distant, or arrogant. Let them talk. You are not under any obligation to remain the exact same mediocre person you were a year ago just to make others feel comfortable. You are here on this earth to grow, to evolve, to transform, and to become a powerful individual who requires zero validation from the crowd because your tangible real-world results speak for themselves. In almost every successful lineage, there is always one specific ancestor who decided to become something monumentally big. The one who broke the cycle of generational poverty. The one who proved every single critic, cynic, and doubter completely wrong. Why shouldn't that person be you? Why have you subconsciously convinced yourself that high-level success, wealth, and power belong exclusively to other people? Every single morning when your eyes open, look directly at the ceiling and ask yourself, what would a highly disciplined, deeply unstoppable version of myself do today? And then go out into the world and execute that exact blueprint. Walk with absolute purpose. Speak with absolute clarity. Stop telling the world your grand plans. Shut your mouth and show them your undeniable results. Be the person people talk about decades later because your work ethic changed everything. If you do not intentionally train and forge your willpower, then your volatile, fleeting feelings will dictate the entire trajectory of your life. And let me tell you something incredibly raw about human psychology. Your feelings are absolute liars. You don't feel like waking up at 5 a.m. when it's freezing cold outside. You don't feel like going to the gym to lift heavy iron when your body's sore. You don't feel like sitting down to master a complex skill or study a difficult language after a long, exhausting day at your day job. You don't feel like chasing your dreams when you are sad or unmotivated. If you choose to only operate when you feel like it, then congratulations. You have officially handed over your entire financial and personal future to your temporary emotional mood. Driven by feelings, constant fluctuations, mediocre life. Driven by willpower, monolithic consistency, elite mastery. Do you genuinely desire to build a strong, legendary life, or do you want to follow your emotional whims like a fragile, undisciplined child? True willpower means executing the right task precisely when you do not feel like doing it. It means when your physical body screams no, you stand up on your own 2 feet and say yes. It means when your mind is screaming, I can't go any further, your soul whispers, watch me. The elite performers who achieve monumental success in this world are not gifted with permanent, magical motivation. Motivation is a scam. It comes and goes like the wind. Winners win because they possess ironclad discipline. They show up to perform even when they are profoundly tired, completely broke, emotionally heartbroken, terrified, or entirely defeated. They possess a psychological muscle that you have allowed to atrophy: willpower. Willpower is not a fixed trait, it is an active muscle. The more intensely you strain it, the stronger it becomes. Let's say you make a firm decision to completely ban your smartphone from your bedroom after 10 p.m. On the first night, you will likely fail. You will experience psychological withdrawal. You will reach for the screen and you will scroll. But if you refuse to quit, if you keep fighting that urge night after night, physically locking the phone in another room and writing down your long-term goals, you build mental scar tissue. Soon, you become the absolute master of your habits rather than a helpless slave controlled by them. Start small. Choose one single thing today that you know you need to do but deeply dislike doing and execute it with flawless precision. Speak to yourself like a military commander, not a victim. Tell yourself, I do not break the promises I make to myself. The exact day you master your internal willpower is the exact day you take total, unshakable control of your destiny. Let me state this with absolute clarity. If you continue to measure your worth by comparing yourself to others, you will live a life of perpetual misery. You will never find a single shred of true happiness. Do you want to know the real reason why the majority of people in modern society secretly hate their existences? It is because they spend 80% of their daily mental energy watching other people live their lives online rather than executing on their own reality. You open a social media app, and within seconds, you see someone with a seemingly flawless body, a pristine luxury car, or a massive mansion. You see an individual speaking with elite eloquence, pulling in millions of views, or swimming in ungodly amounts of cash, and you instantly begin to hate your own reality. You spiral into a dark loop of overthinking. What is fundamentally wrong with me? Why am I lagging so far behind them? Why is their life an absolute paradise while mine is an unmitigated mess? Their 15-second curated highlight reel is actively poisoning your 24-hour raw reality. Let me expose the massive psychological fraud of the internet. You are actively comparing your messy, painful, unedited behind-the-scenes reality with their highly curated, filtered, and staged highlight reel. You are consuming a calculated 15-second snapshot of their absolute best moment and using it to devalue your own 24 hours of real-world struggle. You don't see their horrific mental breakdowns. You don't see their deep loneliness, their massive financial debts, their internal insecurities, or their crippling failures. You don't see the 100 nights they spent crying themselves to sleep, or the 1,000 times they fell flat on their face before they captured that single perfect photo. And yet, you willingly allow this digital illusion to destroy your self-esteem and paralyze your progress. The fastest, most efficient way to completely assassinate your personal growth is to compare your beginning to someone else's peak. You possess your own distinct path, you have your own unique timeline, your own specific burdens to carry, and your own ultimate destiny. If a sunflower and a beautiful rose spent their entire existences comparing their heights, colors, and blooming speeds, they would both completely rot from the inside out and forget how to grow. Stop looking left and right to see who is running faster than you. Look straight ahead at your own track. Your only true race is with the person you were yesterday. Digital Detox Protocol. Audit your feed. Aggressively unfollow every single influencer, acquaintance, or public figure who triggers feelings of inadequacy, envy, or self-loathing within you. Shift focus. Direct your mental energy entirely inward. Track personal metrics. Measure your progress exclusively against your own past metrics. Compare your skills, income, and discipline today against where you stood last month, not against a stranger's curated present. Transform debilitating comparison into fuel for personal inspiration. Learn from the masters, but never hate yourself for being on step one of your own journey. We live in an era of absolute information pollution. The internet has given a massive megaphone to billions of people, but you must understand this fundamental truth. The vast majority of people giving you passionate advice are completely unqualified to speak. If you are planning to construct a high-rise architectural marvel, you do not ask for structural advice from a man who currently resides under a collapsing, broken roof. If your goal is to achieve financial freedom and build a multi-million-dollar enterprise, you do not ask for strategic business advice from your broke friend who spends his weekends drinking beer and complaining about the economy. If you want to learn how to speak with elite, commanding fluency, you do not consult someone who is too terrified to even raise their hand in a basic meeting. Advice filter. Is this person currently living the reality I want? Yes, listen with absolute focus and execute. No, politely nod, ignore, and protect your vision. The world is overflowing with noise, people spitting out empty words without a single shred of real-world experience, offering loud opinions without ever having bled for a cause. Do not allow these amateur spectators to confuse your internal compass. You are the sole driver of your vehicle. Why on earth would you take driving directions from someone who has never even turned a steering wheel? Consider a classic familial example. Your well-meaning uncle sits you down and passionately says, "Don't ever start that business, it's far too risky. Just play it safe and hold on to your secure job." But if you look at his resume, has he ever launched a company in his entire life? No. He has worked the exact same comfortable, risk-averse 9-to-5 job for 40 consecutive years. He is projecting his own deep-seated fears and limitations directly onto your grand vision. Filter every single piece of advice through a strict competency matrix. Ask yourself, has this individual actually achieved the exact tangible result that I am currently chasing? If the objective answer is yes, then shut your mouth, listen with absolute reverence, and execute their blueprint. If the answer is no, then politely thank them for their opinion, completely discard the information, and move on. Don't be intentionally rude, but refuse to be stupid. Protect your internal vision like a mother protects her newborn child, because one single piece of toxic advice from an unaccomplished person can easily derail your dreams for the next 10 years. Let's shatter the great childhood fairy tale that is holding you back. This world is not planning to handpick you out of the crowd. The masses are not going to stand up and clap for your potential until you have already forced them to witness your victory. They will not believe in your capabilities until your success is already an undeniable historical fact. They will absolutely not support you when you are lying in the dirt, bleeding and needing them the most. So what is the ultimate solution? You must explicitly pick yourself. The mediocre wait, the elite reality. Waiting for a lucky break, creating the opportunity. Waiting for formal permission, approving your own potential. Begging for systemic validation, executing without permission. Stop waiting for formal permission from an authority figure to start your life. Stop waiting for some elite institution to tell you that you are finally good enough, smart enough, or qualified enough to lead. Stop sitting by your phone praying for a magical call, a supportive text message, a lucky break, a perfect business partner, or a grand stage to be handed to you on a silver platter. You were not placed on this earth to be passively chosen by others. You are here to aggressively create, to commandingly lead, and to win on your own terms. Look at the titans of history. They did not sit around waiting for a savior. They chose themselves and took massive action. They didn't beg the gatekeepers for approval. They validated their own potential through raw execution. Think of J.K. Rowling. Her initial manuscript for Harry Potter was brutally rejected by 12 separate major publishing houses. She was a broke, depressed single mother living on government welfare. What if she had sat in her room weeping, waiting for a publisher to finally pick her and validate her worth? She would have died in obscurity. Instead, she chose herself, kept knocking on doors, and forced the world to follow her lead. Write your own ticket to the game. Stop waiting until you feel fully ready or certified. If you want to build a media empire, launch that channel or podcast today. If you want to be a writer, publish your work online tonight. If you want to enter a new industry, cold email 50 CEOs before the sun comes up. Tell yourself this foundational truth every single day. I do not require a gatekeeper to approve my entry. I choose myself. The world simply cannot ignore an individual who believes in their own mission so intensely that it becomes a magnetic, inescapable force. Let me articulate this final lesson in the rawest, most aggressive, and most unvarnished way possible. The universe does not care about your potential. The world only rewards your tangible performance. You might be an incredibly good person at heart. You might possess a deeply empathetic soul. You might have a brain packed with multi-million-dollar ideas and beautiful dreams. But if you are not actively working, if you are not showing up to the arena every single day, if you are not brutally executing and proving your objective value to the marketplace, the world will completely ignore your existence. That is the unyielding law of nature. The immature illusion. I have immense potential. The world should recognize me. The brutal truth. The marketplace only rewards my tangible, executed results. You say you want massive success, high-level respect, and financial abundance. Understand that absolutely no one is going to hand those things to you on a silver platter because you think you deserve them. There is no magical fairy godmother descending from the clouds, there is no mystical genie waiting to grant your wishes, and there is no perfect, harmonious alignment of stars. It is entirely, completely, exclusively on your own shoulders. You need to stop crying for help, stop looking around for a savior, and start fighting like absolute hell for your survival. Stop waiting for some external mentor to believe in your vision, and start becoming an individual that you can actually respect and believe in. That primal hunger, that internal volcanic fire, that savage rage to rise above your current circumstances, it has to be generated from deep within your own gut. No motivational speaker, no article, and no AI can fuel that fire for you. Yes, the structure of life is inherently unfair. Yes, you were likely dealt a far more difficult hand than the privileged people around you. Yes, you will have to suffer twice as much as others just to achieve the exact same baseline. But let me ask you, so what? Are you genuinely going to sit in the dirt for the rest of your life, crying and complaining about how unfair the rules of the game are? Or are you going to stand up on your feet, wipe the dirt off your clothes, look the universe dead in the face, and roar, "I don't care how stacked the deck is against me, watch me make it happen anyway"? This life is not a comfortable vacation. It is a brutal, daily battlefield. You are either actively fighting for your territory or you are slowly, quietly dying on the sidelines. Wake up every single morning with this aggressive mindset etched into your brain. Life owes me a damn thing, but I am still going to violently take every single thing I deserve through raw work. Work harder than anyone else in your building. Suffer through the boredom of repetitive tasks. Show up earlier than your boss. Keep executing when every single one of your competitors has thrown in the towel. And one day, years down the road, when the masses gather around you in awe and ask, "How on earth did you create this empire?" you can simply smile, look back at your past, and say, "I stopped expecting life to be easy, and I started demanding absolute perfection from myself." You want the crown of victory? Then go out into the dirt and earn it with your own blood, sweat, tears, and absolute obsession. That is the fixed price of greatness. Pay it in full today. Conclusion: rise from the fire. Now, look at me. Listen to my voice deep within your consciousness. Perhaps you are reading these final words right now, and deep down inside your soul, you are completely struggling. Maybe your current life is not just broken in one area. Maybe everything feels incredibly heavy, dark, and overwhelming. Your bank account is completely empty. Your mind is profoundly tired. Your physical health is failing. Your closest relationships are shattering into pieces. You are operating in pure survival mode, just trying to make it to next week. Perhaps absolutely no one in your life knows how deeply you are hurting inside. Maybe you are maintaining a beautiful, happy smile for your coworkers and family while you cry bitter tears of absolute despair every single night inside your dark room. Maybe you feel like an absolute failure, like a ghost watching the world move past you, thinking that absolutely nothing you try ever works out. You are sitting there staring at the wall, asking the dark, "When will things finally get better for me?" Let me speak to you directly from the heart, not as an unfeeling AI, but as your big brother, as someone who has walked directly through the absolute hottest fires of life and watched ordinary, broken human beings rise like a phoenix from their own ashes. Everything is going to be okay. Extreme rock bottom, relentless forward action, unstoppable greatness. I am absolutely not saying that to offer you cheap, fake hope or a temporary emotional high. I am telling you that because it is an absolute historical certainty. There is always, always a bright, blinding light waiting at the absolute end of the longest, darkest tunnel. It might be a brutally long tunnel. It might feel completely endless. The darkness might feel so thick that you can taste it, but the light exists. You simply cannot allow your legs to stop walking. No matter how utterly shattered you feel right now, no matter how many years you have wasted, no matter how old or broken you think you are not finished yet. There are massive, unwritten chapters remaining in your personal story. There is a glorious, powerful future waiting for you down the road. There is an ocean of untapped power in your DNA that you haven't even begun to imagine. Your absolute worst, most agonizing days are not the final chapter of your life. They are merely the necessary, painful setup for the birth of a stronger, smarter, fiercer, and infinitely more powerful version of you. If you currently do not possess a grand dream for your life, your immediate homework tonight is to sit in silence and find one. You do not require a flawless, multi-step execution plan right now. You simply require a dream that makes your pulse race, a definitive reason to drag your body out of bed in the morning, something worth bleeding and fighting for. And once you lock your eyes onto that dream, protect it with your absolute life. Chase it with a feral, manic intensity. Construct it from scratch with your own bare, bleeding hands. Learn something new every single day. Force yourself to grow. Execute your tasks with extreme intensity even when absolutely no one is standing around to clap for your efforts. And one day, years down the road, when the masses gather around you in awe and ask, "How on earth did you create this empire?" you can simply smile, look back at your past, and say, "I stopped expecting life to be easy, and I started demanding absolute perfection from myself." You want the crown of victory? Then go out into the dirt and earn it with your own blood, sweat, tears, and absolute obsession. That is the fixed price of greatness. Pay it in full today. Now, stop reading. Go take massive action.